Good morning, Flosstube. It's me, Tanya, back again to share some more stitchy progress and updates with you. I hope that everybody is having a fantastic day. Today is Friday, May the 16th, and it is currently very overcast and possibly drizzly here in PEI, Canada. Yesterday got to like 29 degrees, which is insane because the day before when I get up to go to work at 6 in the morning, it was only 2. So we're getting a lot of yo-yo effect, but it's definitely looking more promising that spring is definitely getting set to transition into summer next month, which is my favorite time of year. I love the spring for the flowers popping up, and I love the summer for the beautiful gardens and flowers, and it's my happy time. And this summer we've got a lot of great plans going on, so it's going to be really exciting. It's been 3 weeks since my last update. I decided instead of like saying I'm going to do like certain updates in certain days, I'm basically, when I get to a point where I've got too many whips, I got to come in. So today I have 12 whips to show you. 4 of them are stamped cross stitch, 8 of them are counted cross stitch. I have 1 new stamped cross stitch kit start and 1 new counted start. When it comes to the stamped and some of my counted, which are paper patterns, I don't have numbers for those. I only have numbers for the ones that I actually put into Pattern Keeper. But I have something today, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, that I never have. That is a rarity for me, and that is a finish. I have actually finished Shannon Christine's Autumn Favorites. I was like, seen it, it was nearly done, and I said, you know what, just push on and finish it so I can prove to my husband that I do finish things sometimes. Let me just stretch across the camera here and get, because I didn't put it in hand's reach, my project. I have not washed it or ironed it yet, but I'm really proud of how it turned out. I really love it. I just love the way that she designs things and the colors. I have a lot of Shannon Christine patterns, and I'm in her pattern of the month for the Christmas designs. All right, so without further ado, because I don't have to show you what it's gonna look like, because this is what it looks like. I will show you a picture of what it would have looked like the last time you've seen it. And here it is now. It is finished. I am so happy with how it turned out. It looks so good. I love the colors. So I did have to put quite a few stitches into it to get it finished, but it is finished. I've got a bit of an idea of how I want to fully finish it. I think I want to mount it onto like one of those sticky boards, and then I want to like mount it onto a bigger board and just do some different fabrics and some rickrack and maybe some jute or some burlap or something to make it very fall-like, and I'll be able to hang it in my kitchen in the fall time. So I'm really excited. I have a finish. That is not something you're going to see on this channel very often, because if you're new here, I am predominantly a full coverage big project stitcher. I am hopelessly addicted to HAED patterns, and even my stamped kits are full coverage, and they're not small. So finishes are a rare treat for me. I do try to keep a little bit of smaller patterns on the go just so that I have occasional finishes. So there's my finish, yay! So that is my most exciting news, is my finish. So let's move along. I'll start with my stamped kits. I only have 4 of them. Some of them got a lot of progress, some of them didn't get a whole lot of progress. So I just want to show them to you quickly, then we'll move into my counted cross stitch. I have a fair number of stamped cross stitch because that's what I started. When I started stitching for the first time in January of 2024, it is the stamped cross stitch kits that got me into stitching, and I learned that how much I loved it and how putting those X's together is just extremely satisfying for an ADHD brain such as myself. Sorry, I'm getting that typical itchy floss tube nose. So I have a lot of stamped cross stitch kits, and in my earlier years of buying stamped cross stitch kits, like, you know, I have bought ones that, you know, that from companies that are not necessarily reputable for where they get their artwork. And I get that, and I know that. But I have some, and I'm going to stitch them because I paid for them. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into the first one that I'm going to show you that I did a little work on. Now, this one I did some work on it a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not 100% sure exactly what it looked like the last time you've seen it, but I will show you a picture of what it would have looked like the last time you've seen it here. It is a JoySunday kit. Excuse me, I still itchy nose. It's called To Have High Ambition, and this is what it will look like when it is finished. It's really beautiful. I really love it. Actually, it's not JoySunday, it is NFK. NFK. I got this one from AliExpress, that's right. NFK stitch, and here is where I am now. I didn't take it out of the Narge frame because it's kind of tricky to get in there because of how stiff the fabric is. I'm pretty sure that you will see a difference in where I was before to where I am now. I haven't done any of the back stitching yet, but I really love the way the colors are coming together, and I think it's going to be really pretty. So that is the first one. That is my first stamped kit that I'm going to show to you. Like I said, I don't know how many stitches I put into those. If I had to make an educated guess of how many stitches I've completed between counted and not counted, and what I can track and not track, I'd have to say in the last 3 weeks I've put 20,000 stitches maybe. I do get a lot of stitchy time. We have a very quiet life. We live in the country. We have horses and a donkey that are free range, and they come and go as they please, and we don't have to do a ton of work. Get 3 cats inside, 2 dogs inside, 6 cats outside. We take care of all of them, but they're pretty easygoing. And you know, we just live in the country and we enjoy a simple life. So the next one that I worked on, it's another JoySunday kit. I've had this one for quite a while. It's called Tiger 3. This is what it will look like when it's finished. It's absolutely stunning. I love this kit. I love big cats, and you'll see that with some of the projects that I have. I love like African animals and big cats. So that's what it's going to look like. If I have a picture of what it looked like before, it'll be here. I know I did snap a picture of part of what I was working on, but I didn't open up the whole canvas. But this is what it would look like there. And this is where it is. Oops. I have done, excuse me, itchy face. I have done some work in through, let me just get this here. I have done some in through here. And why I haven't gone back and finished that little square yet, I don't know. I will. Trying to hold it. I need to get a board, I guess, to make this easier. But I've done some stitching in through here, but mostly the biggest change of what I did is I've stitched all of this background. I didn't have hardly any of this done, I don't think. And I did all of this. I'm working on the last color of the background. So I have made quite a bit of progress on this one. It is really beautiful. It is very well done. And when this is finished, it's definitely going to be a hang it on my wall because it's stunning. I love this design. So yeah, I put a lot of stitches into that one. I've been inspired to work on that one because my friend from the Random Stitcher, Luna, she's doing this project as well. And when I seen her doing more progress on it, reminded me how much I love the pattern. So I needed to do some more progress on it as well. Another JoySunday kit that I have, and this I know, again, one of my earlier projects that I had, and I'm like, well, you know, and I thought about not stitching them, and I thought, you know, I paid for them, I want to stitch them. It's this one. JoySunday calls it Tiger 7, and I know that this is a pattern I've seen other people do. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's stunning. I love the pattern. I don't have a ton of progress on this one. Not even sure if I showed this one to you before or not, but basically the only thing that I've got done so far is this section right here. So there's still a lot to do, and it's a very big fabric, and it'll be a long time before I get to the tiger. But I have completed this part. You can see on the back where I've stitched. So I have completed that section there. I love the way the colors are coming out. It's a very beautiful kit. It's a very beautiful pattern. So that was the third one that I had worked on. Now the next one I'm going to show you is a new start. Again, decided if I got it, I might as well stitch it. And I think this might be originally a Cooler Designs pattern. It's not a JoySunday kit. It's a different, and I have no idea what the name of the kit is. I'll put a picture here of what it's going to look like. It's a pattern that I have had my eye on for so long, and it's so beautiful. And I'm like, well, I have it. I'm going to stitch it. I believe it's on 16 count, and I only have a small start, but I am back stitching as I go. So let me just move this thread out of the way. So yeah, this is my start on it. It looks really good. I've been back stitching as I go. It's pretty labor intensive because there's a lot of color changes. Though it's easier to do a stamped kit than it is to do a counted, because you don't have to worry about making counting mistakes. You don't have to worry about having spacing errors and all that good stuff, because it's all there for you. You just stitch the colors. So that's what I love about stamped kits. It is, I think I got this one from Fan Cells. It is an ability to stitch without using your brain. So when you're tired and your brain's tired, or maybe your vision's not like what it used to be and you just want something that's a little bit of an easier stitch, that really does make a big difference, and it is beneficial to stitch stamped. So that's it for stamped. Now we're going to move into my counted. Now I'm going to show my one piece that I had showed all along. It is the 2025 HAED Heaven and Earth Design SAL. You can no longer get in on this SAL. You had about 6 weeks to sign up for it in November and or early December or something. So how it works is they're going to release 4 sections of the pattern. You have to complete 6 full pages by December 31st of 2025. And if you do, then you will get all 12 of the patterns that were included in the options that you could pick for the stitch along. If you complete the entire 85 to 90,000 stitch piece, then you will get all 12 of the patterns included in the stitch along, as well as 1 pattern of your choosing from the website. So it is my goal to stitch the entire thing. The last time you've seen it, because the second installment came out on April the 1st, and I did a Flosstube 3 weeks ago, I think, so it would have been the 25th of April. So you would have seen a progression into the second installment already. At that point, I had 39,515 stitches completed out of the 48,700 and something that there was in total between installment 1 and installment 2. So now I have completed an additional 6,433 stitches to make it 45,948 stitches, bringing me to 94.34%. So I've only have about 3,500 stitches left to complete installment number 2, and I have, I think, installment 3 coming out July 1st. So I'm very well on track for this one. I didn't take it out of the Nurge frame. I will show you a picture of what it would look like the last time you've seen it, because I went from left to right in the first installment, and since my Nurge frame was already on the right hand side, I'm going from right to left on the second installment. So I was predominantly working in the right side. So now I have made it all the way over to the left side, and I'm doing this on 20 count easy grid Zweigart fabric, 2/1 full stitch. So that is where we are now. I love the colors. I picked Drinks on the Beach because I wanted something with a lot of bright colors and a lot of variety, and this one just really fits that bill very nicely. So yeah, all I have is about 3,500 stitches left to put into this area right here, and installment 2 will be finished. So I'll just bring it in a little bit. This is a pattern designed by Lars Stewart. It is a snippet of a larger piece that you can get on the Heaven and Earth site. Not all of the pieces that were in the options were available on the site in any other form, but this one is, and it's just kind of like a crop of that larger pattern. And I really love the bright colors, and I love how happy that, you know, you get that happy vibe from it. So I'm really happy with my progression on that one, and I'm glad that it is on track to be completed. I should have it finished by the end of this month, which is going to give me an entire month to chillax before the next installment comes out, because we all know that most people that love stitch alongs are doing the new Lola Crow stitch along. I did not put any more stitches into the framework since the last time you've seen it. I only like 400 stitches left to finish the frame, and it's kind of floating off into space, and to avoid any kind of counting errors, I said I'm just going to wait and complete that last section of frame with the pieces that get released. The area of release that the first installments should be coming out today, which is really exciting. The first bird is coming out today in the Extraordinary Bird Sal, and you can still get in on this sal too. It's not too late. There's 6,200 stitches in the frame. I'm not sure how big each one of the installments are going to be. I can't remember if they're coming out once a week or once every 2 weeks. Probably once a week. So my plan is to keep up with that. So when that comes out today, I will start stitching on that one, and I'll have that to show you the next time that we do a floss tube. So I'm excited for that to come today. Another project that I worked on that is a bit of a fan favorite, it was an experiment of mine. It is a pattern I got from Thread Geeks. I did not write down who created the patterns on my paper. Like, I wrote notes and I did not write down. So I will put across the bottom of the screen the designer of this piece. It is called Death Tattoo, and this is what it will look like when it is finished. And what I did differently with this one is there was like 58,000 black stitches. So I said, let's try just stitching it on black Aida. So I'm stitching this on, sorry, I got a little stuffy ear. I'm stitching this on 18 count black Aida, 2/1 full cross. I put not a lot, like I only put like 616 stitches. I just pulled it out and worked on it one day. And it's kind of, it's really labor intensive. You have to be really careful, and because it's a lot of the similar colors and stuff, so I can't do like huge pieces on it. So I did pull it out for a bit of a variety in my stitching, and I put 616 stitches into it, bringing it to, I did not put down, I didn't do the math on it. Well, it's hard to determine exactly because I'm up to 63,921 stitches completed, but that's including all the black that I blocked out. So without further ado, this is where she is now, and because it's black, I will put my book behind it. I put some more work into the shoulder. I filled in more stitches in through her face. I've also started working up through here. You can just start to see some Celtic scrolling happening here. These white stitches you see right there are highlights on the top of the cat's head. So that will come into play, but first I wanted to fill out more of this area. My idea is that I'm going to fill out as much as I can through this open space of the Q-snap, and then I will move it to accommodate the rest. But she's stunning. She is really beautiful, and by not stitching the black stitches, it does not affect how brilliant it looks. It is a bit trickier when stitching, and you have to be really sure of your counting because there is a lot of black, but I think she looks stunning. I think it's turning out fantastic, and with any luck I'll get another afternoon or evening of stitching into it, probably afternoon, because it's kind of hard to stitch on at night. I prefer to stitch on it during the daytime when it is easier to see it. Alright, so the next one I worked on is a very popular piece also that you see a lot of people in FlossTube that are full coverage lovers stitching. It is a pattern from Stitches So Beautiful, and it is designed by Etta Jose Rosa, and it is called A Beautiful Place, and this is what it will look like when it is finished. And this is what it would have looked like the last time you've seen it. Now, since the last time you've seen it, I put only 1,065 stitches into it. Again, it was one of those ones that I picked up for a day for a bit of variety, and I'll explain why I needed a bit of a variety in a few minutes, because I have an exciting update to share with you with one of my projects. So I put 1,065 stitches into a beautiful place, taking it to 14.59%. And this is what she looks like now. Pretty sure I spent a lot of time working in this section, the roof on this new house. Like I said, this was probably a week and a half to 2 weeks ago that I worked on this, so I'm not 100% exactly sure where I worked on, but I'm pretty sure it was through here. And it looks really nice. I love the colors. Again, this one is being stitched on 20 count easy grid fabric, Zweigart fabric, and it is 2/1 full stitch. And this one is being stitched with some floss that I got from the dreamstitch.top website. I don't think it's DMC. It says DMC on the floss cards that it came on, but I think it's probably more than likely a CXC. So, and it's pretty much a master set with the exception of the newer ones in the single digit lower numbers. So this is what I'm stitching this one with. And it's going to be beautiful when it's done. Stretching again to go across my camera to reach for the next one I worked on. And once again, looking for a little bit of variety. I work from home, and sometimes when working from home, you know, like you get a few minutes in between work that you're doing or whatever, and I like to keep a stitch close by, close at hand, so you know, if I need to focus my brain down, because I have a very active brain, and myself and my doctor are working to try to figure out how to calm some of the things down. So for right now, what really works for me is stitching. Stitching will take all of my squirrels that are running around in a mosh pit, just, you know, shaking and baking and all that stuff. All those squirrels, bring them all back together and tell them to smarten the heck up and get in a row. Or the ducks get in a row. I guess the squirrels, we just want them to stay contained. So that's what stitching does for me. It helps to corral my squirrels. So when I feel like my brain is scattering or flying off during my work day, just to take 15 minutes to grab a project to throw a few stitches will help to bring my focus back in. So this is one, and I don't have any stats for this one because it is a paper pattern. It is one I got from 123 Stitch, and it is a very popular from Primrose Cottage Stitches. It is Christmas Rules, and I don't have a preference. I don't stitch by season. I don't stitch by what I stitch whatever. I'm like a sweetie. Stitch what you want when you want. That's the way I work. So this is what it will look like when it is finished. Instead of using the called for colors, I basically just got some sulky threads in the color variations to match what's going to be on there. So it's not the same, the threads called for. And I believe that it's like supposed to be like on a 14 count, but I got Permin 16 count Touch of Gray Ada, and that's what I didn't want it to be as big. I wanted them to be a little more petite, so instead of a 14 count, I went up to a 16 count. So if I have a picture of what it looked like before, and I may have to pull it from my whip parade because it's been a little while since I worked on this one, this is what it would look like before, and this is where I am now. Now let's see if I can straighten this out. Like I said, I don't iron anything. It's not going to get ironed until it's fully finished. So I was working inside of this section here. I had the cup done, but I didn't have the straw or the coffee in the cup done, and I didn't have all of the wording done. So I finished this section with the hearts and the drink hot chocolate and the heart up there. I put this next border in, and now we're going to get to the hang your stocking section. So I've got this little stocking done, and I got the word hang, and then I've started over on this stocking there. So a few hundred stitches likely. Let me turn, oh there we go. A little bit better light to see it just a little bit better. So I think the colors I chose are pretty good. And I like the way it's turning out. I like how bright and vibrant it is. And it is my intention to do many more of these Primrose Cottage stitches with the rules. I really love a lot of them. But this one I got from 123 Stitch, and it was one that was higher on my list to start, but I do plan to get a lot of the other ones. So put that back in its bag. It's in a very fancy bag. It's in a Ziploc bag. I don't have like designer bags. Basically, I have those Amazon plastic ones, or I have Ziploc bags because I'd rather spend my money on fabric and floss and patterns than on the other ones. And there's so many beautiful ones out there. Trust me, I am so tempted to buy some of the beautiful bags that people design, but I'm like, no, you know, I want to kind of keep my spending to a minimum. Now, coming up next is the pattern that has made me need to have some variety. I have been stitching on this one, obviously not monogamously, because I can't do monogamous stitching. I have to have variety. But I started this whip in May of 2024. I jumped on the bandwagon of all other people because last year was my first year of stitching. Every time I heard a FlossTuber talking about this new awesome thing, I'm like, oh, let's do this new awesome thing. A lot of people were doing May Mania, and I'm like, oh, no, I've already started so many stitches since January that let's not do Mania. But then there was Mirabilia May, and I saw a Mirabilia kit that I absolutely loved, and I'm like, oh yes. So I ordered everything from 123 Stitch. I don't think it's on the fabric that it calls for, but I'm not sure. I was a new stitcher at the time, so I got all the stuff, and then I started it. It is Mirabilia's Sun Goddess, and this is what it will look like when it is finished. It's stunning. I have never worked with those metallic flosses before. I've never beaded, none of that stuff. It's being done on 32 count. Let me just check I still have the sticker on here somewheres, or maybe it finally bit the biscuit and fell off. I think it's Picture This Plus, maybe, I'm not sure. I'll write it down here, the fabric that I'm working on, but it is a Belfast linen, and I'm doing it 2 floss over 2 threads of the fabric, so 2 over 2. But it's my intention when I got to the skin to do 1 over 1, and it was like, wow, I hope that when I get to it that I'll be good at it. And I'm so fortunate and glad that I started in the middle. I did a middle start on this one. I started in her lap, which is I'm really grateful for, because I wasn't as good a stitcher back then as I am now, and I'm so glad I didn't start in the hard part with the 1 over 1 skin. But I have made incredible progress on this. It is my goal to get this one finished with the cross stitch, and all that be needing to be left is beading before the end of May, because I have another Mirabilia that I have fully kitted and ready to go, that I am chomping at the bit to start. And I told myself I am not starting another fancy lady until this one is completely finished, her cross stitching, and all that's left is beading. So I did not take it out of the Nerge, but you will see this is what it looked like when I picked it up on the 4th of May. So I've been working on this for 12 days. I have no idea what the stats are, because it is like, yeah, it's a pattern. It's a paper pattern. I wish that you could get Mirabilias into Pattern Keeper, but it just isn't going to happen. So I'm about to show you where she is now. This is where she is now. So my focus, when I picked this up, I had this section done, like through here. I finished this part of her dress. I finished here. I completed this entire section. The only thing left to do in this section is beads. There's going to be beads between each one of those brown stripes. There's beads all through these flower motifs. I love the way the leg of the chair turned out. I didn't even realize it was a leg of the chair until I was done and looked back, step back, because you don't see it when you're right up close. So that is all finished. These are again openings for beads and some metallics. And you get up to her lap, And let me just move this thread. This I didn't even know that was a lion's head until, again, I stitched it and stepped back, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's a lion's head. And there is quite a bit of metallic in through the lion's head. And there's the other one here. There is some metallics and beads over here. I don't have all the metallics in, but I did fully finish that little part there. And I'm working up her bodice, and there is her sleeve, and skin. I was so nervous to start this skin. I actually delayed a couple of days because I was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Do I want to stitch it 2/2 like normal with the rest of it? Or do I want to do it 1/1? Because if I start doing it 1/1 and it doesn't turn out good, it's going to be really hard to frog. And I'm like, and you're doing 4 stitches to 1 stitch, and you have to be really careful. So basically how I'm doing it is I'm doing the 4 stitches in the 1 square, and then I'm marking that, I'm using a highlighter and marking that square off. I'm literally marking off 1 square at a time so that I do not mess it up. And so far, knock on wood, I haven't made a mistake. I am good. I started with the first color, and I am getting into now the second color. Her arm here will kind of come up like this. So that is where that one is. There's a little bit more dress over here, but without getting into her chest and neck area, it's too far off to count. So I am just going to do this, all the skin all the way across. There's still a massive amount of stitching left to go into this. Her entire head and all her hair and all that other stuff that goes with it. Whether or not I get this finished in May, I'm not sure. But I will continue to work on it until all of the cross stitching is finished. I am so pleased. I just gotta show it again. It is so beautiful. I'm gonna show it with the light of the natural window there. It is so beautiful. The details that she puts into her patterns is just incredible. And I cannot wait until this gets finished and gets beaded, and this will most definitely be a professional framing when it is done, and I will proudly hang it on the walls of my home because I love it so much. So that one is why I've been looking for a lot of variety in my stitching, because I've spent so much time working on her, and working off the paper pattern is so much harder on my eyes, and I'm even railroading all of my stitches to keep them nice and neat and tidy. If you don't know what railroading is, it is when you're working with 2 flosses, and as you come up through the hole before you go down through the next one, you're taking the time to make sure your floss are straight, and you're splitting between the 2 flosses with your needle and back down. It helps your stitches to lay flatter and more side by side instead of twisting. So I'm doing that both for the bottom leg and the top leg so that I can get the neatest, most tidiest stitches, because I really want her to be fantastic, which is why I'm so glad I didn't start in the big detail area of her head when I started this, because I was not the stitcher then that I am now, and I'm a little more careful, a little more meticulous, and I feel like my stitching has really improved over the last year. So there's just one last project of Counted that I worked on. I had started this I think in February. I had originally started it on a different Bestitch Me fabric that was a beautiful fabric, and I was picking all my own colors, but it just wasn't jiving for me. I wasn't reaching to pick it up because I wasn't pleased with the colors I picked out, and instead of ripping it out, which I will do at a later time, I said, forget it, I'm just going to restart it over on a piece of 18 count cream colored Aida that I got in like a bulk pack of sheets this size from Amazon. It is a it's called Every Love Story, and it's a Stitchrovia, which is an Emma Congdon pattern. So I restarted restitching it. I put 1,824 stitches into it, so it's a little over 10%, and this is where it is now. Let me put my paper behind it. So I'm using all the called for colors this time. And it's going to say every love story is beautiful, but ours is my favorite. And that's how I feel about my husband. He's my soulmate and my everything. And I think when it's done somewhere, I'm going to put our initials and maybe the date that we were married. We're very close to, we've been together for it'll be 11 years next month. But we got married when we were together 10 years. So on June 15th next month will be our first year married, 11 years together. And he's the most incredible person. And the only thing that I would change, if I could change anything, would be I wish that I had met him sooner so I could love him longer. But you meet someone later in your life, and you just hope that the good Lord gives you as many years as possible. My husband is a police officer, and in doing that kind of work, I know there's an inherent risk of what he does. I'm grateful that at least we live in a small province. It does have its fair share of incidences, and he is on a tactical team that gets deployed and probably won't be home for our anniversary next month, because he will actually be probably halfway across the country at an event that he needs to do security for. But then right after that, the plan is that we are going to go to the Netherlands for 2 weeks in July. My husband's father hailed from Holland, hopped on a plane at 18 years old, a little bit of money in his pocket in one bag, and came to Canada to chase the dream of being a cowboy and farmer, and he made an amazing, wonderful life for himself over here. He has a very large, loving family in Holland, and we have seen them from time to time as they've come to visit us in Canada. His father's been gone now. It's 7 years, and I can't believe it's 7 years last month. And we've had it on our bucket list to go and visit his homeland and see where he grew up. And his siblings, he still has most of his siblings left. There was a large family, but they are getting older, and his cousin told him, like, if it's your intention to go over to see the family, you need to get over to see your aunts and uncles very soon, because they are getting aged. So we're going to take a week and visit with them in Holland. I do believe somewhere between the 3rd or 4th of July. We're going to spend a week there. And then my husband is a massive World War II history buff. We watch every documentary, every movie, everything about that stuff. So we are planning to map out a lot of the historic sites and museums from World War II, Juno Beach, Normandy, all those places, and all the different monuments. And we are going to go to France after we visit with his family, and we're going to tour all through all of those amazing places that are on his bucket list. And I can't wait to do that with him. And maybe if time permits, I would love to do a train ride through the Swiss Alps, but we'll have to wait and see. We're both newbies to big time travel. Typically all our travel is like go to a travel agent and buy an all-inclusive resort down south. So this is the first time we're doing something that's like off the beaten path and something that you have to map out and do yourself. So it's a little intimidating, but also really exciting. And then the plan is when we get back from there, hopefully we'll have started it before, but it's hard to say. We're already almost like halfway through May. And then he's going to be gone for a couple weeks in June. But I'm hoping this is the year that we're going to put our beautiful new deck on. We've been wanting to put one on since the pandemic, but the price of lumber got extremely ridiculous during the pandemic, so we held off and held off and held off. And I told my husband, unfortunate for him, that we held off, because as each year went by, my vision of a deck got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So if we built the deck 5 years ago, it would have been a lovely, modest, beautiful deck, and now it's this extraordinary large thing that I have dreamt up in my mind. We don't go out often. We are homebodies. We love living in our little country paradise, and so the plan is to put a bit of a wraparound deck around two sides of the house. I'm going to finally put in a chain link fence that will give the dogs an outdoor space to run and play, and they can come up on the deck. The deck will wrap around, so the other side of the deck will have a gate so they can't get off the deck. But, you know, I want to have a big open platform. We got a hot tub that we bought last year that we're going to put out there, and We're going to build a little kitchen area off the corner of it, and I'm going to put a nice smoker grill, pit boss, and a blacktop grill because I love to barbecue, and our barbecue bit the biscuit last spring, so I haven't barbecued in way too long. So that's the plan, to hopefully have our beautiful outdoor space completed this summer. I figure by the time we're having our deck party, it's probably going to be the end of August, but it'll get done and it'll be gorgeous. And I can't wait to put more flower beds in, because I've been waiting to put more flower beds in till after. The weather has not been very cooperative to get out and clean my flower beds this spring, but hopefully I will get out and get them all cleaned up, and maybe on my next FlossTube update I'll have had them all cleaned up and all the mulch put in. I have never had a space or a place to do gardening and flower beds before, and I do now, and I enjoy it, and I have put in some beautiful flower beds. My magnolia tree is getting a lot of, you can see where her buds are coming and they're getting bigger. She's not open to start to bloom yet, but when she does, I will most definitely get photos. She is a Susan magnolia, and almost and just absolutely stunning. I actually planted her above the ashes of my two beloved pets that I lost in the years before I moved here. I've always wanted to lay them to rest where I will be done moving, and that is this place here. So that is called our puppy garden. And we also have the ashes of my mother-in-law's beloved pet that we lost 3 years ago now. Presley, she's in there. And we are going to place one more pet in there. We lost our 18-year-old barn kitty this past winter. He was well loved, and literally, I've never seen an outdoor cat live so long and be so healthy. And literally his battery wore out, his light dimmed. He died peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by the other kitties that adore him. And we miss him, but we know he had a good life, and we're going to lay him to rest in his final resting place, also in that flower bed. So that is on the agenda for my life. But one more update. I talk a lot. I ramble. But one more update I've got to share with you is some upcoming plans for stitching. Like I said, I talked about wanting to finish that Sun Goddess before I started the next one. Let me grab it here. This is the bag that contains all the things for the Rose of Sharon. And this is an older Mirabilia pattern that I purchased from a D-stash on Facebook. This does not have specialty flosses, and it does not have beads. It is just beautiful stitching and colors. This is a picture of what it will look like when it is finished. I'm sure many people have seen it. I have photocopied the pattern, so I have my working copy ready to go. I have a piece of 32 count Stormy Night Belfast, so I wanted something neutral with light modeling. So I have the Stormy Belfast fabric to stitch it with. And last week I went and got all the flosses already on their floss drops. And beautiful colors, beautiful colors. So I'm really happy about that. So like I said, it is ready when I'm ready. So I can't wait to start that one. And I forgot to share my new start with you that I started and I totally forgot. I got sidetracked. See, I talked too much. And I made notes, but I didn't look at them. I had a new start. And I started it on May 1st. I kind of added some new starts, and it's that Heaven Earth Designs stitch along or pattern. I'll put down here who created it because I'm not sure. It's called Transitions. I absolutely love it. I think it is a selected size, like a special size that she did. I put 1,457 stitches into it over 2 stitch sessions, which is like 0.44%, not 0.44%, very little. It's a very big project. There's 330,600 and 25 stitches in it. So it's going to take me a long time, and I talked to you last time when I did the Flosstube about buying that 32 count Easy Guides Weigart fabric, and I was going to give it a try on that. Well, that is what I did. Now, I experimented. I have a lot of extra fabric, so I experimented with a 1/1, with a half stitch and a full cross. I didn't like it, so I asked for advice on having a Facebook page, and I got some really great advice about loosening up the stitch a little bit, different way to stitch so that your fabric, so that your lines are different in the back. And anyways, so I managed to figure out somewhat what I'm going to do with it, and that is my start. Now you saw the picture of what it's going to look like when it's done, so you know this piece is going to be confetti heavy the entire way through. I don't think there's going to be any block stitching. I said that's like 1,500 stitches and doesn't look like anything. It's pretty tiny. It's one that I need to be in the right frame of mind for because it's 32 count. I'm still undecided if I like it or not. I know a lot of people are doing really large projects on the smaller counts now. It's kind of like a trend, and they're doing it very successfully, and it looks really great. And when you want to reduce the size of a piece, that's the best way to do it. So I'm really hoping it will continue to work out okay, and that my eyes will allow me to continue to stitch it. I'm just doing like a 1/1 half stitch, and if I feel like there's too much floss showing, I will do a second loop. So it's a little more time consuming, especially on the darker colors. I will basically do like a 2/1 half stitch, but I'll do 2 separate rounds through it. So that is that new start that I did and I forgot to tell you about. And the one more thing that I wanted to share with you is that I was watching a Flosstuber, and I can't remember who it was I was watching, and I saw their progress on the Witchy Stitchers Nostalgic Tarot and the frame for it, and you know what, and they're talking about her Patreon, and I said, I just impulsively, I went to the Witchy Stitcher Patreon, I signed up for her Patreon, I downloaded the Nostalgic Tarot frame, and every month there's another card, and you do get it for free, but if you wait too long, you got to go back, and you got to go back to the first ones. You got to pay for them, but they're not very expensive. They're cheaper on the Patreon. So I bought the first 3 cards and the frame. I have not started it yet, and again, this was going to be a new thing for me. I actually purchased 25 count black luganna. It gives you stitch sizes and stuff for 14 count and 16 count and 18 count, and probably will wish that I did this on like 18 count when I'm done. But I'm going to do 1/1 full cross on 25 count black luganna. I didn't want it to be massive, so doing it on this, the frame's going to be like 18.5 inches by 21 inches, so it's not going to be like massive. I didn't want it to be massive, but I love the colors. I love the retro vibes. Like, look at the colors for the frame. I've got some of the other colors in here for the other cards, but look at the colors for the frame. OMG. They are so beautiful and so fun. They're just take you back to the 80s with the bright and the vibes. Like, there's a couple of colors I'm missing. I did cut them shorter because I'm going to be doing a 1/1. I didn't want huge lengths. Like, if I'm doing a loop start on a project of a 2/1, I will leave it longer so that I can do loop start because I'm folding it in half. But if I'm just doing 1/1, I like a shorter strand because by the time you work with that bigger, longer strand, you're going to be like shredding. So I'm okay with having different lengths of floss. I keep it's going to stay in with this pattern for a very long time because it's very large. So that is going to be started this weekend. I can't help myself. I love the color. I love bright, beautiful colors and things, and you can see that from some of the stitches that I have. So that is exciting. That's going to be a new start this weekend. I just can't help myself. I start all the things, and I watch Flosstube every day. I have so many wonderful people that I follow. I will list a few down below that I follow or have watched lately, and I hope that you will take a moment to check them out. Some you may know, some you may not. but I will put that in. Usually it takes a couple days after I upload to get onto my computer to do all the editing of the detailed section down below. I will list out my projects and who they are by and stuff down below. If you have any questions about any of the projects that you've seen today or anything about me and my world in general, feel free to ask. I'm an open book. Everything in my life is very simple and very beautiful, and I'm very blessed to have the life I have and the place that I live with the man of my dreams, and to be able to come on here and share with you my passion of cross stitching and show you all the things that I love to do that are just so therapeutic for my brain. It's a wonderful thing. I love this community. I love FlossTube. I love watching FlossTubes, and I thank you so very much for watching mine. I hope that you are still here. If you are still here and you are all about liking my projects and you like my channel, maybe put a little rainbow emoji in the description below in representing the nostalgic tarot that I'm about to start, because it's got beautiful rainbows across the top. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're stitching while you're watching. What are your favorite things? Do you like stamped cross stitch kits? Do you prefer counted cross stitch kits? Please withhold any negative expression about stamped kits and some companies with their poor reputation for their techniques of acquiring art. I am aware, but my money is important to me, and I already bought them, so I'm going to stitch them. And if you don't like them, I totally respect that, and that's good. This respect that I do. And I ask that only positive comments, positive vibes, and if this isn't your cup of tea, then that's totally okay. There's so many more floss tubes out there, and I'm sure there's some wonderful people out there that would enjoy your watching. But thank you for watching. I'm going to call this quits because we're at 52 minutes, and I have to edit this and get the pictures all put in and get it uploaded. Again, I hope that you have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. It's a long weekend here for Victoria Day, so I'm super excited about that. I hope that the weather is pleasant and good wherever you are in the world. I do know that some of the FlossTubers and followers are experiencing an opposite season from what I'm experiencing, but I hope that it is good weather regardless. And I hope that you are happy and healthy and well, and I hope that you get lots of stitching in, and I hope that you're able to stitch the things that you love, because life is too short to worry about how many starts you do, or whether you got 15 projects on the go and you should work on those, but you really want to start that one, well, start it. Who is it hurting? You're not taking away anyone's birthday. You're not affecting anybody but yourself. If you want to start it, you start it. I say do it. Do all the things that give you joy, because life is too damn hard as it is. So take joy where you can find it. All right, that's it for me. I'm signing off. Multiple Lanes, Creative Brain, signing out. Have an awesome weekend. Bye.